back to Thursday night. Was really proud of our guys on a short week. We prepared well, had to fight through some real sore bodies after a real physical game the weekend before, and we knew that was going to be a challenge, but our opponents also had that same challenge working on a short week, and we were really excited to get another opportunity to compete against a good South Dakota team that had come off what we felt was a really good win on the road when they defeated Illinois State, and it held true. This was a tough, hard-fought victory where we had to overcome some adversity, and I think our guys handled that situation pretty well. We were pleased with how we were moving the ball, and just unfortunately we got down in scoring position and turned it over, and then late in the half we were driving the ball again and had another turnover, but went in the locker room up 7-3, and that was the result of, we gave up one big play on defense, and they got down in our end, and we held them to a field goal, and I thought that was really important when our defense held to a field goal. And then we got to the third quarter, and our guys really played a good quarter of football, and really throughout the remainder of the game, they give them credit. They had a long drive for a score, a 15-play drive, and if you're going to give up a score, you want to make them earn it. And I felt that our opponent earned that score, and we got a good victory, a hard-fought victory that we had to overcome some adversity, and that game was not over till the final horn. A two-possession game like that, you just got to fight the whole way through, but it was great to get into a victory formation and able to kneel on the ball the last couple snaps. This week, we move on and got to go on the road against another Valley team that is real physical, and we're impressed with them as we watch them early on, and a lot of skill on offense. Tony Tate is a dynamic return man and receiver, and their quarterback really can make all the throws, makes you defend the width and the downfield. He's got a strong arm. Defensively, they have some standout players, but CJ Hunt really sticks out in their front. He's a transfer from an FBS school, and we think he's very active, and we're going to need to be aware of him. But this is a team that will challenge us. The preparation is difficult. They spread the ball around a lot on offense. A lot of different guys have carried the football for them, and that makes it difficult to prepare for a team.
Coach, do you address or say anything about the way Western Illinois struggled, mightily against South Dakota State in the first half? Do you watch much of that film? Do you stress to the guys that maybe that's not the type of team that they should expect? Or do you say much about a team coming off a really tough loss like that in Western Illinois?
Well, there's always a concern if guys get hung up in comparative scores, but we've got to be a mature football team. We got to watch what they were running. They had plenty of yards in that game and just made some mistakes. We've all been part of it where you make mistakes that stop drives, and we know that they were on the road at a very, very good opponent. So we've got to watch it to learn from it and learn as much as we can about this team, but we shouldn't really be concerned about the score or the results of games. We got to learn as much as we can about our opponent.
Success you've had at home, how do you translate that now onto the road?
We need to do a good job of focusing on ourselves. We need to prepare well. It's no secret that our recent history, we haven't won a great percentage of our games on the road, and we just need to be more focused and really pull together as a team and go down and play well and good disciplined football on the road.
Mistaken, it sounds like Western Illinois might have more limited attendance than you experienced at home here. Is that anything, how do you feel about going into a stadium that might only have family?
Well, fans definitely give life to a team and give energy to the action that's going on in the field. But really, to create excitement, you got to do it as a team too. The Alaris Center, if we don't make any plays, it's not as exciting as it is as when we're scoring and making plays. But we addressed it to our team early on. We know we're in the middle of a pandemic, and there's not going to be a whole lot of people in the stands, and we got to create our own energy and our own excitement and have a lot of pride in the work that we do. It goes back once again prepare hard, and then take advantage of that, all that time and effort that you put into your preparation, and go out and perform well and compete at a high level on Saturday afternoon.
Coach, I think if I saw this right, you guys are outscoring teams like 63-17 in the second half. What is this team perfected so well in that last 30 minutes to close out games or take advantage of games?
Yeah, I think the credit goes to our players and staff to get in there at halftime. And, this is a team effort to decide what they like, what they feel will work, both the coaches and the players, and take input and then put together a good plan that's maybe pared down a bit and a simple plan and come out and execute it. And up to this point, our guys have done a good job of that. And we hope that continues. But mainly it's just coming out and really playing disciplined, hard-nosed football. We've been playing with great effort and been able to, get first downs because we've had very few negative plays, and that really helps your football team, and that needs to continue. But the credit goes to the guys just coming out with playing with a lot of energy, a lot of life. And football is a game that you can play with emotion, yet it's got to be at the right emotional level so you can really execute.
Bubba, just quickly, the ground game has been so effective for your team this year. I think 249 in the ground against South Dakota on Thursday. You're averaging over 200 a game. What's made that particular area of the offense so good in the first 3 games of the season?
I think our offensive line has improved. Felt like we made good progress in fall ball. And, you still never know until you get to games. And, this story isn't over yet. We got to keep those guys on edge with those guys. There's been a lot of pride and work ethic developed in that offensive line room. And Coach Pavlik and the guys are really working hard and continue to work hard. And that's really helped us. And then I think our backs have run really hard and, got some good tough yards that we move the chains and stay out on the field. And then late in games, it seems like we're able to hit some big runs or, Thursday there was an exception. Our big runs came in the third quarter, but that probably comes from a real belief and the guys just sticking to it, being assignment sharp, but really playing physical. And that's what we've been able to do. And we need to continue to do that to have success on the ground.
Bubba, this is Jack from Fargo calling. And maybe I came in a little bit late, so if you've answered this already, and it's about simulating on the road. And I know that you're flying into one town, driving to another town, and then staying in that town, and then driving to Macomb. Are you practicing like in Hillsboro and then driving to Mayville and coming back to Grand Forks? How do you simulate that, Bubba, this first road trip?
Yeah, we went outside yesterday for the first time. This year was really, for some of our new guys, it was the first time they ever practiced outside at the University of North Dakota, because all our other practices have been in the high performance center. And, we're trying to do that to acclimate our guys to playing in the wind and the kicking game in the wind. And we'll be outside a couple more times this week. But, the trip, you just got to be able to handle it. Our thing is prepare and focus on our preparation. And when the game starts, it really shouldn't matter where you play or what the trip was like. You need to love this game and play with great effort once the ball gets kicked off. We got guys that have played all over at different places and in different environments as they're growing up, and just block out all the outside noise and anything that's a little different on a trip and get out there and play on Saturday afternoon. That's kind of been our message early in the week.
Coach, I'm writing something about Memorial Stadium and the weight room that was in there. And, talking to Coach Bockel, he talked about perhaps it wasn't a lot of the bells and whistles, but maybe that established a no-nonsense tone. What do you recall about having the weight room in Memorial Stadium like that?
Yeah, I remember when it was built, the McKay family put forth the funds to put that weight room in there. And it was an awesome gift. And, for our guys to dress right down the hallway and walk down there in that weight room, it wasn't climate controlled. So I guess it was heated in the wintertime. Sometimes it was a little cooler than you'd like. In the summertime, it was hot. And I think it brought a real toughness to our team throughout those years. And, we had a visitor one time. I recalled a recruit came in and parent was kind of concerned about our weight room, and I just made a simple comment. I said, it worked for Kleinsasser, so I think it'll work for your son too. And, you know, we lived with it. It is what it is at that time. And now we move on from there, but that place was special, and it's going to be tough when we don't have the stadium there to look at anymore. And I know there's a lot of alums. That'll be a tough day because there's so many great memories in there, and those weight room memories are great for a lot of players, I'm sure.
Bubba, just a quick follow-up on the running game. Last season, you averaged around 120 yards a game on the ground. Again, this season, over 200. You talked about the offensive line and the physicality of this team has improved. Has the play calling changed a little bit to be a little more run heavy because of that success?
Well, we always want it to be balanced. So, you know, we try to keep people off balance. And when you're able to run the football, that helps your play calling. And you commit to it more. When you are not able to run it, you know, it adjusts how you have to call. But the big thing, Alex, I think we've been really stressing with our guys, a 3-yard play is really a good play at times. You know, the other night, I think we had a real tough run by Otis. It might've been one of his best runs of the night for about 2.5 yards, but it moved the chains. And those are physical plays that really count. You know, even on the goal line, we've been able to run the football in the end zone, you know, and you got to be able to do that when you want to. And this isn't over yet. We need this to continue. We need to be able to run the football. And when you're able to run it, I think you're able to throw it better too and protect the passer. So this has helped us. It's a whole team effort. And you control the clock. You keep your defense fresh. A lot of things are good when you're able to run the football effectively.
Feels like too with this program, that's always a point of pride. It seems like you really do pride yourself in being able to be that type of a team. Talk about how the team has fed off that this year and taken on that identity.
Well, I think our offensive line room sets a tone for our team. We want to be a tough, hard-nosed football team, and when they're able to play physical, that really helps us. But what really sets you apart, you know, the one thing that I'll watch opponents all the time is how do their receivers, how physical do they play, their tight ends, how do they play on the perimeter? That's what really sets a team apart, how the little guys play physical and how the running backs play physical. You know, all those things play a part in a physical football team. And it trickles down to everybody, I think, when our O-line sets a tone, but really when the entire offense is joining in and playing physical, that really helps set a tone for our football team.
And then last one for me, just looking back again to South Dakota, what did you learn about your team in that win? What really stood out to you?
Well, I think we were able to hold our composure when some bad things happened. You know, we went into the locker room ahead. That helped us, that we were ahead on the scoreboard at halftime. But we knew against a really good team, we left some points out there. And that's always a concern because how many more opportunities are you going to get? And then to come out the second half and really get off to a good start, I felt like there's certain things that motivate our team, and how our guys responded to that adversity was really good to see.